What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to YGOPD, your Yu-Gi-Oh! Professional Development. Today I have something really neat for you. This is Memento Fiendsmith, probably without Fiend Smith here soon. I really hated that today. I've been slowly testing this. Big shout out to Cody and Sunny for helping me to learn the deck, as well as like Mario, Alex, Grant, and Key for all helping me get the cards hooked up. I think this deck is really cool and has an extremely high skill ceiling. My brain is definitely not where it needs to be to pilot this deck, but I was like doing so much testing. I'm like, I need to go to a proper event. So I went to a case tournament today that was not great. My performance was not great. My deck building could be much better, but I still wanted to showcase this. And also the case tournament was kind of annoying because it wasn't even a case tournament. They said it was, and they only split 8 boxes amongst top 8, which is like horrible to play like potentially 7 rounds of Swiss and get 6 packs. Like that's terrible. So I'm not gonna say anything further. I'm not gonna like name a store or anything, but shout out to some of the squad. I think Grant and Julius are both in top 8, and we're continuing to play it out, as well as Cody. So good for them, but definitely not my scene to probably go again unless I have more information. But regardless of the little soapbox there, I wanted to just showcase where I've started with Memento, and I'll kind of talk about where I think I'm going to go with it after this as well. So the Memento engine we'll go through first. I'm going to showcase all the starters. All of these are 1-card combos that pretty much get you to like the combined creation with either your choice of like witch and or horse, or not horse, the Trihorn engrave to get mace to either snatch, steal, or pop a couple cards, or do both, as well as like SP and Desiree on board. I just don't think the Fiend Smith stuff is super needed. It's become a little redundant in my testing, and that's probably again an issue with deck building, but I just think there's better ways to do it. So horse is a starter, the Tatsuno Shigo, the 3 Anguish, the 3 Darkblade, and then 2 Goblin because of a couple things, both with Fiend Smith and the new quick play spell from Rhoda, the Goblin Biker spell that's like essentially gives this deck a dodge to tribute a monster and then special out Goblin. Goblin is technically still full combo by dumping what is it, Gaddock and Fusion, then adding back Fusion and starting to combo that way with the Memento Fusion. So these are all starters, 11 1-card starters, plus Fiend Smith, plus a bunch of other stuff in the deck. So it is consistent. I think the problem is it can be a little redundant because normal summons can clog, as well as like I think you could cut like a Darkblade for a 1-for-1 or Anguish for 1-for-1, that kind of thing to like diversify stuff a little bit. But overall, this was still fine. I think I'm going to keep 2 Goblin, whether or not I cut the Fiend Smith, just because the quick play spell is crazy. And then all the 1-ofs, 1 of the combined creation, 1 of the Trihorn, 1 of the Akahorn. This card is amazing. It's just insane, all of the things that it does to be able to reborn itself, add back cards, and then just let your stuff attack directly if you're really running in a pinch for time. Is just, it's all incredible how much this card does. And then 1 Sleepy, 1 Gaddock, and 1 Mace. I also think moving forward, I am going to up Sleepy to 2. Shout out to my boy Sunny. We talked a lot about this card, and he equated it to like Grave Squirmer, and I think until I started playing it more and more, I didn't really understand kind of how that worked, and now I kind of have a really good idea of that. But just either upping this to 2 or upping Fusion to 3 or both might be really good, especially in a more pure focused build. So and then the rest of the engine, excuse me, 3 Bone Party, only 2 Fusion, and then 1 Field Spell and 1 Cranium Burst. This is like the Apo for 5. This card's amazing, but you search it, so you never need more than 1 as part of the combo. And this card, I'm thinking of like even just bumping up to 2. There are random cards I've considered, like Sunny and I think have talked about cards like Monster Reborn or Foolish Burial, just to have kind of weird ways to interact or continue to play. And I just think maybe bumping Fusion up, because my luck, for whatever reason, I was opening a lot of names, and having that would fix some of those hands, right? So yeah, that's it for the Memento engine. For the honorary Memento stuff, 3 of the Goblin Biker Breakout. It's a quick play spell. It's just essentially rescue. It's like emergency and rescue ace, except you're only getting Goblin. You tribute a monster, special a Goblin monster from your deck, which is just Memento Goblin. It works like that. So yeah, it's just, you know, chain on when they imperm Anguish to get Goblin, whatever, search Horse Still, all that kind of stuff. This is just a really good card. I think you keep this in and potentially even cut Fiend Smith. So speaking of the Fiend Smith, this just, I did not like this at all today. 3 Engraver, 1 Lurie, 1 Lacrima, and 1 Tract. I saw these 2 cards like at least once or more every match together no matter how much I riffle shuffle, no matter how much I power shuffle, it was just insane. I hated it. But I'm thinking that maybe one of these slots becomes like a 1-for-1, and then these 5 cards become Horus to Zombie Vampire Dump or Photon Lord or whatever, because you can always, if you really, really need to, tribute summon Horus or just special Horus first, and then do that stuff and still get everything you need in under 5 summons. So, and it gives you a diversity of ways to push. So I'm thinking I might either test Horus, or it's just going to be more hand traps and non-engine, that kind of stuff. So it is fine. I'm sure there's probably a correct way to play it. I'm also sure that playing the entire Fiend Smith package plus 3 of these is redundant. I'm sure I'll hear that. But again, it's just kind of however you want to approach the deck. This is my first stab at it, but I think there's a lot that I'm ready to change and excited to change. Foolos, I did get mine. My wallet is not happy about this, but I have them. Figured I'd not play it. I saw it twice. Once they just passed. The other time I got called by. Great, $150 card. 3 Ash, and then 3 Imperm for the non-engine. I really think this non-engine needs to be bumped up a little more. I think like Book of Eclipse can go in. I think a couple talents could go in. Called by should go in, and then maybe even another set or 2 of hand traps could also go in the deck. So, but for now, this is where I'm kind of slowly testing it at. 42 cards, nothing too terrible. And then for the extra deck here, we have, I just noticed I think lumped everything into where my side deck was. I'm going to try to move that out of the way. There we go. Get that stuff cleaned up. There we go. So for the extra deck, Fiend Smith stuff, just get that out of the way. 1 Dez, 1 Moon, 1 Sequence, 1 Requiem, 1 Necroquip, 1 Aerial Leader. There's not much really to say about this. This is to dump Goblin and be able to bring it back using stuff like Cross Sheep. And the rest of it is just to make Dez insulate your combo, use an extra body. Like you typically make Desiree with Sequence and then link Sequence plus Trihorn into SP. And then you summon Combined Creation and you're just protected from Nib and all that. It's not bad. But again, I think there's just a different route you could go that gives you a lot more extra space and more neat stuff that you can do. So. After that, again, Cross Sheep, as I mentioned before, and then the Memento stuff, 2 of the Combined King, or the Creation King, and 1 of the Twin Dragon. I think there's probably a world where this is going to be bumped to 2, and maybe this even to 3 if you're worried about Kashtira. That's starting to run around a little bit more in my area, but if you know the bare minimum of if you're not going to get ripped from extra deck, then you can 1, 1, and 1 is, or 2 and 1 is fine, but 3 total. And then let's see here for the rest of kind of the toolboxy stuff, 1 access code, 1 rabbit for the stuff we side, 1 SP, 1 Guardian Chimera, and 1 Chaos Angel. These 2 never came up, but I think they're cards, at least for now, I won't cut. Access code came up once, but it just wasn't a big enough push that I needed. SP is amazing. This is a deck I've considered 2 in, which is kind of a disgusting thought to go back to that time, like pre-Rescue Ace a year or 2 ago. And then Rabbit is just, Rabbit's good. For the side deck, this was very thrown together. My whole going to this event was very last minute. I just really wanted to decide to play Memento, and I probably should have just played Exodia with 6 Charmies, the Shifters, the Dogwoods, and just not thought about the game. But 3 Eclipse, this card was great. I kind of wish I mained it a lot today. Helps to dodge different things and just really bait boards, and it works well with the big guy as well as the Bone Party to give him piercing and attack everything once. So. And then the rest of the side, 2 Droplet and 2 Cosmic. I was more on like board breaker-ish cards or cards that were good as 6 cards, things that I could draw off Charmy. If I wasn't on enough hand traps as is, I just wanted a lot of cards that I could draw into that would still be really, really good, especially going second, as well as cards like that could be sided in that were still decent going first. And then going second stuff, a couple Lightning Storm, and then the rest of the deck, or extra side deck, sorry, is 1 Ubs. 1 there can be only 1 anti-spell, and 1 Apophis. Sorry about that. These are all just decent cards. Floodgate, and this is an Omni Negate while you have any other continuous trap up. And the last 2 cards, just 2 Droll. I probably should have mained this even over Fuolos maybe. I wish I had 3 of this. And then 1 Resonator for time to dump off like Aerial Eater. Again, bring back off Cross Sheep. And then just target the big guy and gain 5k, which is really, really nice. So, yeah, that's it. That's Memento Fiendsmith. Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to be messing with this a lot more and fixing it up. But, yeah, until then, I'll see you all in the next one. Later.